Super duper doo, how are you? And what do you do when people criticise you? What do you do when people tell you that you can't do it? What do you do when people say it's impossible, it can't be done? And you've got a great idea, you've got an invention, you've got a creation, you want to do something that's never been done before. And people will tell you it's impossible, it can't be done. My next question is, if you've got the idea and you go to other people and you hate it if they don't appreciate your idea, what do you do when people come to you with an idea? Even if you think it's impossible and it can't be done, it's never been done before, it doesn't make any sense to you, it's not logical, is it possible that if somebody can create something in their own brain, that it might be able to work out? It might be possible. Now, I'm standing here at one of the most beautiful dams. It's a man-made dam in the South Island of New Zealand, where I'm sure there was a time in history when somebody said, let's build a dam, and other people said, that's a dumb idea, that's a silly idea, that won't work. Interestingly, in the South Island of New Zealand, a lot of electricity is created from the dam situation. There's lots of dams that create lots of electricity. And I'm sure that when the person who invented electricity said, we're going to have an electrical impulse that lights up the world, that people said, that's impossible, you can't do it, it won't work. Isn't that interesting? So there's two parts to my question. What do you do when people criticise you? And if somebody comes to you with an idea, do you criticise them? Because there's a buzzword at the moment, it's called critical thinking. And I always ask this question, I ask it pretty much on a regular basis now. Are you a critic or are you a critical thinker? If you criticise, you tell somebody it can't be done and here's all the reasons why, people only need one reason and they won't be able to do anything. If you tell them they can do it, let's work out how we can do it, what's the best way to do it, how can we versus how it's not possible, you can't. Could we create more imagination, more ideas, more brilliance? Is it possible that if somebody comes to you with a great idea and you tell them it can't be done, that they might, every time they come up with a new idea, they might say, well, it's not going to work because somebody told them once that they couldn't do it. Particularly if you're a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss or a leader who people respect. If you tell somebody that they can't do it, they will probably believe you. This happens to me on a daily basis where people share with me their idea, their creation, their invention, but they say, I can't do it because my parents told me that I can't do it. Well, they trust their parents, of course. My boss told me I can't do it, and they probably work for that person because they trust them. Business people have told them that they can't do it, and that's one of the really interesting things, and one of the things I find very fascinating. I'm asking you, please don't do that. If somebody comes to you with an idea and you're a business person, your business might be something that everybody else is doing and you did it because it was safe and secure. But everything that's ever been done, everything that's ever been achieved, everything that's ever been created was once considered impossible. It was just an idea, an electrical impulse in somebody's brain, and that person decided that even if everybody else said it wasn't possible, I'm going to give it a go anyway, I'm going to give it a crack. And this is a really important thing to me because as the owner of an international fitness business college, and our college has an international business diploma, the idea of business for me is you've got an idea, you've got a creation, you've got an invention, you're really passionate about it, you want to do it and keep getting better at it and keep developing it, and your product or service wants, or you want it to add massive value to the world, and that's called a sweet spot. And that's what makes business successful. So if you have an idea, if you're passionate about it, if you want to develop it and create it and make it better, and if you know that it's going to add massive value to people's lives, it will work. Please don't let somebody tell you that it won't work. So the word critical for me simply means it's important. So if this is important to you, it's critical for you to make it happen, then let's make it happen. Don't let somebody steal your dream. Don't let somebody tell you that it's impossible, particularly the people that say it can't be done and they've never done it. I find that to be really perplexing. Why would you say to somebody, you can't do that if you've never done it before? The other one I find even more fascinating and sometimes a little bit frustrating is that people have given it a go and they failed. So if somebody else wants to give it a go, they say you can't do it because they failed. Just because somebody else couldn't do it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Just because somebody else gave it a go and gave up. And that to me, as I always share, giving up is the only definition of failure. You only fail when you give up. So if you don't give up, you can't fail. So if this is critical to you, apply critical thinking to it, not criticism. And there'll be plenty of criticism. And as I always share, my father taught me this as a very little girl. The higher you climb, the more people will want to pull you down. But my father put it in a much better context. If you have nobody pulling you down, you're not climbing high enough. So thank you to the person who decided the dams were possible, even though everybody else said it was impossible. Thank you to the person who made electricity possible when everybody else said it was impossible. Thank you to all the people in the world who have a great idea, a great invention, an imagination, and they don't listen to the critics. They apply critical thinking to it and they make it happen, they make it real. So if you've got a great idea, don't leave it in your imagination. Don't even leave it in the forefront of your mind. Turn it into a reality. And if somebody tells you that you can't do it, just nod, smile, walk away. Nod, smile, walk away. Because you can. If you decide you can, you certainly can. Woohoo!